Fun fact, my friends, this video, the one that you're currently watching, was supposed to come out all the way back in May, before I decided to do all the movie reports and trailer reports. But yeah, this script has just been sitting in my documents for almost 2 months now, but we are here now, and with the announcement of Coraline coming back to theaters in remastered 3D, the timing seemed to work out pretty well for me. So today, let's grab some snacks and finally talk about our beloved Coraline. Coraline is a movie that I've always been wanting to cover. Ever since I watched it years and years ago, I knew there was something special about it. Whether it's the beautiful claymation, the charismatic characters, or the imaginatively twisted story, Coraline is a fantastic movie. But is it suitable for children? Coraline is notoriously known for being a kids' horror film, but with its overtly cartoony visuals and bright color palette, you wouldn't think that was the case. Until about 3/4 through the movie, where it cranks its creepiness dial to 11 and shows some potentially unsettling images like ghost children and a spider humanoid monster obsessed with taking people's eyes. It's pretty creepy stuff, and people of all ages have stated that Coraline is one of the most horrifying movies they've ever seen. Which then begs the question, is Coraline too creepy? More specifically, is it too creepy for a PG rating? Films are recommended to have a rating on them that helps consumers, primarily parents, gauge the contents of a movie without having to see it. Film ratings vary from country to country, but the commonly expected ratings for a film are G, PG, PG-13, R, and NC-17. And as you can see from this handy infographic here, the lower it goes, the more restrictive it gets. Which is why most of the movies that we see fall under this range due to their accessibility, which draws in more people. Coraline falls under here, the PG rating, meaning essentially anyone can watch this film, sharing its spot with films like Paddington. Film ratings are decided by the Classification and Ratings Administration, aka CARA, which is an independent division of the Motion Picture Association, aka MPA. CARA is seemingly comprised of an independent group of parents. Although, due to their lack of transparency and vocality, I'm not entirely sure if that's the case. But either way, CARA is responsible for giving Coraline its PG rating. People have speculated online on how exactly Coraline fell under the PG rating, despite its rather dark and adult contents. And the most likely reason for this is because Coraline technically doesn't break CARA's disposition on violent and sexual content in films, because of its stop-motion animated nature. CARA is quite fussy when it comes to violent and especially sexual content in films, to the point where movies like 8th Grade, which is about a girl learning to gain confidence in middle school, were shifted from a PG-13 rating to an R rating simply because it had some swearing and minor sexual references in it. Dunkirk, on the other hand, was given a PG-13 rating, even though it takes place on a literal battlefield and is full of violence and death. But because there was no sexual content in Dunkirk, it managed to evade the R rating. That being said, Dunkirk does contain some coarse language like the F word and the S word, so shouldn't it also get an R rating for swearing like 8th Grade did? And this is why people are upset with CARA and the MPA, because they are neither transparent nor consistent with their rating system. And so when a movie like Dunkirk gets a PG-13 rating, people are a little perturbed by it. And so CARA's emphasis on sexual content not being appropriate for younger viewers is probably the reason why Coraline evaded an R and PG-13 rating, because even though Coraline contains some violent imagery, it has very minimal sexual content, and is an animated film, which gives CARA enough reasons to give Coraline the good old PG pass. But the real question isn't how Coraline got its PG rating, but rather should Coraline have a PG rating? Is violence okay if it's presented in an animated form? Is Coraline simply too creepy to be a PG film? And this is where people are divided. You'll find many blogs and articles online on why Coraline is inappropriate for children to watch. And these websites will usually talk about how even full-grown adults are being scarred by this movie, thus its inappropriateness for children. Some people have even had nightmares after watching Coraline and were afraid of their own mothers. So these are quite some allergic reactions to the movie, and they're all valid. But on the flip side, you'll find other people saying that Coraline is absolutely fine for children, and that the world has gone soft, damn it. You'll find parents on several forums sharing about how they had a wonderful time watching Coraline with their children, and some people even wished Coraline was creepier, Whichever side you fall into, whether you're against or in support of Coraline's PG rating, I am here to tell you that it doesn't matter. Sorry, Stephanie. Because simply put, even if we do disagree with the film's rating, we as the public can't do much about it because it's the MPA who's deciding all of this. It's CARA. And the MPA is a private organization comprised of a board of anonymous members, so the public essentially has no say in any of their matters, and film ratings can essentially never be changed once they're assigned, which is why we unfortunately need to accept that movies will occasionally receive misleading ratings, and in order to address this, we can arm ourselves with more reliable movie rating resources. May I present to you Common Sense Media, not a sponsor. Common Sense Media is a platform for movie ratings and reviews, which was made specifically for parents and children, by parents and children, and their ratings and reviews are incredibly detailed and transparent, and is a much better alternative to the vague MPA film rating system, which by the way I do appreciate because these labels and ratings are better than nothing, but I think more people should know about the other film rating resources that are out there that could potentially paint a clearer picture on the contents of a movie. IMDb also has a dedicated Parents Guide section for almost all of their movies, which lists any potentially explicit content found in a given film. And I think more people should be aware of resources like these so that they can make more informed decisions when going to the movies with their families. So instead of trying to get a movie to get a different rating, which will essentially never happen, like once a movie gets a rating, that's it guys, we have to get over it. We can use helpful platforms like Common Sense Media and IMDb to make more informed movie-going decisions so that our family members aren't accidentally traumatized by a film that was marketed as harmless. Because while the MPA may not do anything, you as the consumer can. The main topic of this video is now done, but I want to talk about some other fun Coraline stuff with you guys, like all the rumors surrounding Coraline 2 and whether we'll get a sequel to this beloved film, because the president of Laika, Travis Knight, shut down the idea of a sequel in an interview, saying that there are too many sequels that are redundant and don't offer anything new to the viewer, and that Laika is going in a different direction than that of sequels. But don't lose hope just yet, because Neil Gaiman, the author of Coraline himself, hasn't ruled out the idea of a Coraline 2, saying that if he's gonna do a Coraline 2, it needs to be a Toy Story 2, or The Godfather Part 2 level sequel, where he's actually upping his game and that so far he hasn't come up with anything yet. So let's give him some time to cook up another story. Or not. I would be a little sad if Coraline didn't get a sequel, but mostly I think I would be okay. If you have any suggestions on what a Coraline 2 could look like, feel free to leave them in the comments below, I would love to read them. Perhaps they could do like a time skip and Coraline is now an adult who's contemplating whether what she experienced when she was younger was real at all. And so she goes back to the old house to explore the other world once again, but then she starts getting hallucinations and reality constantly keeps warping to the point where she doesn't know what's real and what's not. And the movie can explore the idea of childhood trauma and the effects it has on a person. Or they turn it into a musical. Who doesn't love a good old musical? One last thing I wanted to talk about is the incredible Deborah Cook. If you didn't know, Deborah is the costume designer for all the Laika films. So all the clothes that you see in Coraline and in other Laika films are hand knitted by her. And that's just such a uniquely fascinating talent that I couldn't help but mention her. Like, how does one even discover that they can knit tiny clothes? I hope there's an interview where she goes in depth on how she developed this incredible skill. And I hope she offers lessons on how to knit tiny clothes because I think more people should be able to perform such a fascinatingly unique craft. That is all for this video, my friends. My voice is gone. What do you think about Coraline? Do you agree with its PG rating? Do you even look at film ratings? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to read your responses. Thank you for watching once again. Have a wonderful day.